All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Word with Ty Brownlow. I'm your host, Ty Brownlow. Remember, no one is worthless, no story is worthless. Today, ladies and gentlemen, it's all about the food, it's all about the love, it's all about the culture. Look here, a couple of words to describe my guest, the funky chef, published author, and culture recipe recreator. Ladies and gentlemen, all the way from Fort Worth, Texas. That's Texas, y'all. Okay, Fort Worth, Texas. Okay, all right. Boom, there we go. Man, please put your hands together for Chef Scotty. Scott.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate being here.
Man, no problem at all, brother. Look, I just thank you for coming onto the platform. Of course, pretty much some of those words I use, chef, published author, culture, recipe, recreator. We're going to talk about all those in a minute. But, look, ladies and gentlemen, my man does it all. We about to get into it. We here to talk about this food. And you are the author of a book called Fix Me a Plate. Please,
yes,
please talk to us all about this book.
It's just, it's a soul food book. It's also kind of a bit of a memoir, so to speak, just talking about stories and recipes that I ate and recreated and enjoyed growing up. And so it's just kind of my kind of coming out to the world in terms of how I've approached food, how I love food, and how I appreciate the food and the culture that goes along with it.
You do things a little bit differently than Grandma used to do back in the day. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, we're gonna talk about all that in a minute. But you are scheduled to fly out to LA for the 2022 LA Times Book Festival. Can you just, man, first of all, congratulations. All right.
Thank you.
Man. Second of all, tell us your thoughts and feelings on that and, how, all this came about.
I'm honored, I'm humbled. Before I began writing the book, I really, I have, going back, I enjoyed writing growing up as a kid. And so I really hadn't written much since high school. I really had a passion for it. I've got a creative side to me. So when they asked me to do the book, I was a little apprehensive in terms of how my writing would be perceived, because I have a certain style, I have a certain voice. I wanted to make sure it was authentic to my voice, and to my feelings, and to what I wanted to portray in the book. And so I was a little nervous to see how people would respond to it, because it's not necessarily the usual recipe guides. I mean, the recipes are straightforward, but the different stories that go along with them are very personal to me. And so to be honored in a book festival it's almost overwhelming, because there are many aspects that go into the creation of the book. Obviously it's the recipes. You got to get those down right, because if it don't work out when somebody recreate them, then it's going to be a problem. It's the photography. And so I did about 90% of the photography in the book, mainly because I just had my own viewpoint on what I wanted to look like. Fix Me a Plate kind of embodies what I want you to feel when you're looking at my food, both online and in the book, in terms of pancakes. It's not in a dark room with a shadow over your head. That's perfect. I want you to feel like I just handed you a plate of food and you're about to dig into it. And so that's one of the reasons I wanted the photography to come from myself, and I knew the idea that I had behind it. So you've got both the photography, the recipe creation, but also the writing. Obviously, it's a book. And so I just use it as an opportunity to, a journal of my life up to this point and how food has played a part in that. And so to be honored with the book festival it's amazing. You know, it's truly amazing. I have to say that my mother was an educator. She worked for the Detroit Board of Education for 42 years, and she brought books from the library, from the high school library, to me. You know, since I could read, basically, and so to have, you know, one of my works, you know, displayed in a festival like this, it's incredible. You know.
Okay. All right. Hey, look here, man. And you hinted on it earlier, you know, food and culture. You know, we're about to talk about it in a second. But not only is it a book, it's like personal stories about, you know, me growing up. These meals aren't just meals.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, this is actual like history that you're like eating right here. So, you know,
Absolutely.
like, I mean, if I can put the visual in your, you know, mind, people, you know, you're eating history. So, but no, man, you know, look, let's talk about that for a second. You know, pretty much when we talk about food and culture, first and foremost, like what style of food would we normally find in one of your books?
So, you know, to be honest with you, I just, you know, for those that don't follow me on social media or anything like that, I cook everything. You know, I'm not a classically trained chef. I'm a home cook that, you know, just learned my way through the kitchen. You know, I learned watching my mother in the kitchen and my father on the grill. And so when you go to my page, you might find some Asian food. You might find some Italian. I look a lot of tacos. But I grew up eating soul food and I cook soul food. And so the publisher came to me and they wanted me to write a soul food book. And so initially I was a little apprehensive because, you know, like I said, it's not what I specialize in. It's what I grew up eating. It's what I enjoy.
Right.
But, you know, I'm not a food historian. I am a home cook. And I was a little apprehensive because, you know, especially at that time, it was a bit of a reckoning going on in the country. You know, George Floyd was going on. You know, we're in a bit of a lockdown, and I wanted to make sure that I could give it justice. You know, I didn't want to just go in this, you know, half-heartedly because, you know, I take it very seriously. I mean, I'm very animated and kind of jovial in my videos and stuff like that. But when it comes to the food, I take it very seriously. And so you talk about soul food, you're talking about not just a cuisine, but it's a culture that goes along with that. And so I felt that was a very serious topic to undertake. And so when I finally decided to do it, you know, I said I just got to do as much research as I can, you know, pour my heart into it, and then hopefully people would understand where I was coming from. And so you know, when I finally was able to kind of put it all together, it was more than I could ever dream, to be honest. It really kind of helped me reestablish and reimagine my own family history and recipes I've forgotten about that I grew up eating, and recipes that I that I grew up eating, didn't even know what they were called, and researching them, finding out what they were actually, the origin of them was. So it was a pretty just, you know, undertaking the book in and of itself.
Now, a couple of key things that I liked about what you just said. No, I am not a culturally trained chef, but I love food. I love soul food. I grew up eating food, and as you said, for those that may not know you, if they go to your page, they are going to see some of everything pretty much on your page, because you like to prepare food a certain type of way, because you grew up, you know, pretty much as you said, on soul food. And I know reading, you know, for those who may want to go to your page and follow you or whatever, but, you know, if they look in your bio, you know, they see that, you know, or pretty much as you stated, you know, you're very close to your mom, you know, grandma as well. They had recipes passed down. You took these recipes and you put your own modern spin on that, you know, and I think that is like wonderful, you know, and that's something, you know, that we can definitely share with families and, you know, friends or what have you, you know, who may want to come over for traditional holidays. So there it is. Now, real quick, let me just ask, because I'll be wrong to ask, I mean, not to, and yeah, I know some people who will be mad at me. But are there any vegan spins on your to your dishes?
Oh, I have not ventured into the vegan cuisine quite that much, to be honest with you. I knew people were gonna want that.
Right.
I'll be honest with you. I got a toddler, 9 to 5, and when I was doing this, my recipe testing did not allow for vegan recipes to be included. Now, I do have some that can be done vegan. So, like, one of them is the stewed okra and tomatoes, which is really one of my favorite dishes in there. It uses in the book, it uses duck fat. You can use bacon, but you use chicken stock, but you can very easily make it vegan and delicious. And it was surprising because it's one of my favorite, like, quick, easy meals. I mean, all you need is to make the stewed okra and tomatoes and add it to some rice. It's a whole meal in and of itself. So that one can be made vegan for my vegan folks out there.
Man, you like from the time you started this, journey up until now, like, what have you discovered about yourself personally?
It's been incredible. Just in the journey began when I first started social media with my channel and doing different, recipes and stuff like that. Like I said, I work in oil and gas in corporate America, and many folks, black folks, they know the code switches, they say. They know the different personalities you have to have with your personal life and with corporate life, and it can be challenging, it can be a burden, and working in that sphere for the past 15 years or so, at times I felt myself getting lost, because you have to be this person 9 to 5, and then you come home and be this totally different person. And so when I first started doing this, I can recall, like, I can just remember being on LinkedIn and not having my picture up, because you don't want to, fear the backlash of being a black man trying to get a job,
Right.
And when I first started doing this, I found myself doing that same thing. I wasn't really showing my face. I wasn't showing who I was, because I was so used to being perceived in the wrong way, or the backlash of being a black man trying to promote yourself. And it wasn't until I remember when I first got into it, I saw a black hand holding something in the email I got. And it was Black History, So that was the reason they were showing it. That was the reason they were showing it. But it struck me because I was like, the fact that it struck me lets me know how rare it was. And at that point, I was like, man, no. We're not gonna do this way. You deal with all this bull, whatever, in your 9 to 5.
Right.
This is gonna be your authentic self from here on out. You know what I mean? This is gonna be you. You cannot try to hide from what you might think somebody may perceive of you, because you're a black man trying to put this out here. And so through that, it's been incredible growth in just showing myself, showing what a black man can do in this culinary scheme of things, and just embracing that, and using that as a tool, not only to grow, but also to help others to recognize what can be done with it. Part of the thing that's really just, amazed me is, like I said, the book has been more of a journal than anything in terms of the writing. But just the people that have come up to me and said, man, this recipe here, I remember my grandmama making that. I remember us having that same feeling in the house. I start off with it talking about how, my ham hocks was burning in the house and almost burned the house down. And it was like, yeah, man, I remember being left at home too. Like, yes, it's a shared experience. And so it's been amazing to me to just feel that, that positive energy from people, and the connection that it's made with people in the community, and understanding how similar, our backgrounds are in this whole thing.
If you ain't been popped with no grease trying to, like, fry chicken or fries or anything like that, then you really wouldn't know, And I ain't talking about the fries out the bag. I'm talking about fries from potatoes.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah, them bad boys pop. Well, no, man. like you hit on a lot of key points, especially, as far as being a black man in corporate America, being a black man in corporate America, and just trying to make it through the day to day and just have like some sense of like self, because you're being dragged in so many different directions, and then you have to come home, and man, you have to turn it on to like dad mode, because you have children you have to tend, to, husband mode, and things of that nature, so you have to take care of family, but to have something like you can call your own, and you can really connect to, pretty much at the end of the day, at any time at the end of the day, I think is key. So now I want to talk about your media channel. You have a media channel called Cook, Drink, Eat. Now I know you mentioned, a little bit, before about it, but tell us where, this whole scheme comes from and what can we expect on Cook, Drink, and Eat.
So, Cook, Drink, Eat started as it's pretty much what I do. I cook, and usually when I'm cooking, I'm having a drink, DRANK, and then once I'm done, we gonna eat. That's pretty much how it started. After I started it, I was unable to cook for a little bit, so I was going through some things, and I started going out to restaurants to keep the content going. So that part I kind of turned into a little bit more of a foodie kind of thing. I go to different restaurants and holler at different chefs and stuff like that. So, on social media, I try to have fun with it, man. I do cooking videos. Some of them are like, short films. I try to push the envelope of what you can expect out of cooking videos. When I got into this, I was I was a little behind in terms of what had been done before. And so I said, I think I need to make myself stand out in what I do and be true to what I think I can be creatively in the kitchen. And so you'll find me in there, I'll mess around. Sometimes I got my 2-year-old in there helping me out and stuff, helping me out.
Right.
But, I try to keep it lighthearted. It's pretty cool. And then a lot of times I might have all the information on there. You got to go to my website and then get the full recipe there. But I'm trying to make it more than just, 1, 2, 3, put a cup of sugar here, put a cup of flour there. I'm entertaining as well as informative when I'm doing my cooking.
Okay. All right. So now, you just mentioned the website. Now, for those who may want to, get in contact with you, or for those who want to follow you on social media and go to your website as well, how can they do so? Can you please drop those social media handles as well as emails and websites?
Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Cook, Drink, Eat. Social website, cookdrinkeat.com. So it's all Cook, Drink, Eat. Everything. Find the book on cookdrinkeat.com. So
there it is, y'all. Streamline, boy. Look at it. I love business, boy. Business is people. I'll try to tell y'all all. It's real simple. Okay.
Yeah.
It's
absolutely.
Real simple. But anyway, all right. Look here, man. I've come to my last question, but this is the question that my show is known for. Well, I would love to hear your answer, Chef Scott. What is the one word that best describes you and why?
Oh, that's a tough one. Innovative, I guess. I really, I don't really think anybody's doing what I'm doing in terms of the food video production and what I try to put out there. It's a lot of folks that may have more followers than I have and have more following, but what I'm trying to put out there is something unique. It's different. It's entertaining, and the food it's fire. I mean, it's fire. I'm gonna be real with you, it's fire. And that's ultimately what it boils down to. I try to make sure that it's different because, once again, I think, and I talked about this a little bit in my book, as a black man, I want to show we can do any and everything involved in the culinary sphere, So yes, I have a soul food cookbook, and I try to push the envelope with different recipes there in terms of, what it can be, one of my videos is a prime example of that. So, I try to take the usual and flip it on its head and make it unique. So one of those is candy yams. And so I've taken candy yams and made candied sweet potato gnocchi. So it's taking sweet potatoes, making them the gnocchi, and then give them a little toss in the candy yam syrup, and it's also fire. Just innovative. I'm trying to push the envelope. I'm trying to open people's minds, open people's palates. Make them more accepting of anything that they might not think is possible. And so that's really my goal. When I do pop-ups in various cities, I'll probably do one in Atlanta next month, here in Fort Worth next month, probably Detroit and New York. And so when I do them, I want to hear two folks. One, I've never had this before, and two, it was fire. That's my goal.
You're going to hear, man, brother, you going to get a restaurant. You got a food truck.
Got a food truck coming too. If you're in Fort Worth, food truck coming in May. So,
man, y'all lucky down there, boy. Y'all lucky down there in Texas. I'm telling you, boy, it's a place to be right now. Got Chef Scotty out here with creating these eloquent, dishes here, man, putting a spin on them. Getting these recipes and just mixing it up. But no, like, innovative, yes. I will say, man, yes. Yeah. I totally agree with that and more. Like, as I said, you're taking, dishes that have been passed down, but you're putting a modern spin on it. Because, yeah, as you said, you could take the traditional recipe, yes, add this, yes, add that, yes, add this. But no, growing up, sort of a foodie, you know what I'm saying? And, like being like of an acquired taste later on, but like getting that part of like culture and putting that with the acquired taste, as you said, man, you go out here making dishes like, I would have never thought, no, I would have never thought to do that. That's what it is. All right, man. Look here, y'all. Look, boy, look now. Okay. Man, y'all lucky down there. Lucky down there in Texas. I'm telling you, boy, it's a place to be right now. Got Chef Scotty out here with creating these eloquent, dishes here, man, putting a spin on them, getting these recipes and just mixing it up. But no, like, innovative, yes. I will say, man, yes. Yeah. I totally agree with that and more. Like, as I said, you're taking, dishes that have been passed down, but you're putting a modern spin on it. Because, yeah, as you said, you could take the traditional recipe, yes, add this, yes, add that. Yes, add this. But no, growing up, sort of a foodie, you know what I'm saying? And, like being like of an acquired taste later on, but like getting that part of like culture and putting that with the acquired taste, as you said, man, you go out here making dishes like, I would have never thought. Yeah. No, I would have never thought to do that. So, man, seriously.
And I do have both. Don't get me wrong. I have traditional recipes in the book. My sweet potato pie is my grandmother. It's called the world's greatest sweet potato pie because, it's fire. It's good. But I try to separate myself just with my own stuff. That's way to make it unique. Somebody asked me like, is this like elevated soul food? And I was like, well, no. It's not that, because that's disparaging soul food. Soul food in and of itself, and the technique and the tradition and the history of itself is amazing. So we're not going to say it's elevated. It's my own spin on it. It's a different twist, but it's not elevated from anything else. And anything I do is soul food. You know, I tell people, you know, if you go out there, you got some tomato sauce with some pasta, what is it? It's Italian. You know, people don't try to bake Italian into 4 little different, you know, dishes. You know, soul food is not just collard greens, chicken, fried chicken. You know, it's everything involved from the African diaspora created by chefs. And so there's a lot of folks, you know, now that are making this, and people kind of want to give some pushback in terms of like, is it, you know, appropriation? You know what I mean? Is it, you know, gentrifying? No, we Black folks, we're not going to be put in a box of what 5 dishes define us as. That's what it is. So right. I'm sorry, I'm getting on my soapbox.
Okay, so man, let's just go there for a second and let's just really speak the truth. You know what I'm saying? I mean, because we always have the wonderful power of editing. You know, but you bring up a great point. And a lot of times when people think about soul food, they do think about, okay, man, some greens, some sweet potatoes, greens, sweet potatoes. We got fried chicken, you know, and we got mac and cheese.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And it is that. 100%. It's that.
But it's much more than just those dishes.
It's much more than that. You otherwise you holding yourself. Nobody else does that. You know, Mexican food doesn't do that. Italian food doesn't do that. We're not going to do that. You know, you got, you know, Black chefs out here, you know, that are cultivating their dishes from the ground up, from the seed up. You know, they're growing their own produce. They're raising their own, and they're creating amazing dishes. And so, you know, it is that, but it's also what's to come in the future. You know, it doesn't stop. The growth doesn't stop. The creation doesn't stop. You know?
I just think that hits on a point of what we talk about around here from time to time, of living in the first industrial revolution lifestyle when we actually live in the third industrial revolution lifestyle. You know, like we live in a totally different time. And
absolutely,
as I said, for you to take, you know, old school, you know, dishes, but to put spins on them, you know, so you're not really, you know, losing the culture of it. But hey, I'm introducing you to something that, as you said, fire. Okay, I ain't never had that before. All right, and fire.
Yeah. Right.
You know, like that's key. You know, and to get somebody to say I ain't never had that before, like that is very interesting. You know, that turns them on, and it gets them, you know, more interested in, you know, the culture as well. And look, yeah. So I agree with you, brother. I agree with you. You know, like we much more than 4 or 5 dishes, man. Soul food is much more than that. So let's stop making it. You know, it's these same 4 dishes every Sunday. It ain't gonna be these same 4 dishes every Sunday.
Right.
I mean, some Sundays we could have had them 4 dishes. I'm not even, like I said, I'm not trying to disparage the history. I'm not trying to do that at all.
No,
it is that.
No.
But it's going to just continue. It's going to continue to grow. That's all. You know.
Right. Okay. All right. Hey, man, look here, man. Look, you a chef, and as a chef, let me just say the doors are always open to those people that can cook. Okay. Look here, man. Anything else you got going on in the future, man? You want to come back on, man? Look here, you pretty much like family now. All right, I
appreciate that.
All right, because look here, your brother can cook, y'all. All right, fire. All right, fire.
Yeah.
Go out there and get that book, okay, man. All right, cook, drink, eat.com. There it is.
Yes, sir.
Real simple.
Yes, sir.
All right, man. Stuff that we all do. All right, on that level, and on that note. Man, this has been Word with Ty Brownlow. I've been your host, Ty Brownlow. Remember, no one is worthless, no story is worthless. You can follow me on all social media platforms at Word with Ty Brownlow, or you can go to my website, tybrownlow.com. Get this wonderful interview, plus other great interviews as well. Chef Scotty Scott, we out. Peace.